Full Measure has learned the FDA is planning a new study on TV advertising of prescription drugs. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry benefiting both pharmaceutical companies and the television networks paid to run the ads. Supporters say patients benefit too. But almost nowhere in the world is this allowed except here. And with prescription drug use a leading cause of death and injury, we investigate the pill pitch. Dr. Michael Carome leads the health research group at the watchdog Public Citizen. He's against prescription drug advertising on TV. It was forbidden until a fierce lobbying campaign by the pharmaceutical industry in the 1990s.
But in 1997, the FDA opened the floodgates to broadcast media, television and radio ads for prescription drugs, and we now have companies spending billions of dollars every year on this advertising.
Let's go tonight. I'm down with Crestor.
Sleep. Remember when it welcomed you like a friend?
The average person in the U.S. sees 9 drug ads a day, or 30 hours of drug ads per year, which is just an extraordinary amount of exposure to prescription drug advertising.
Ask your doctor about PARALYSIS, the most prescribed acid control medicine in America.
The ads upset the long-standing rule that doctors alone should decide the best pills for patients.
Lipitor is FDA approved to reduce the risk of heart attack and stroke in patients.
To get an idea of how much the ads boost profits, you need only look at how much is spent on them. In 2018, the pharmaceutical industry shelled out $6.4 billion on so-called direct-to-consumer ads. No one from the drug industry would agree to an interview. Representatives have said in the past that pharmaceutical advertising saves lives.
Depression hurts
and improves public health.
Cymbalta can help.
Dr. Carome says there are serious downsides.
They're the newest drugs, so we often know the least about their safety because they haven't been on the market for a while. And often there are older alternatives that may be equally effective and safer. And because those drugs aren't advertised, because the generic drug industry doesn't do this type of advertising, it can worsen public health overall.
Experts say taking prescription drugs as prescribed is a leading cause of death in the U.S., a factor in as many as 200,000 deaths a year.
Tell your doctor right away if your depression worsens, you have unusual changes in behavior, or thoughts of suicide.
Safety is a big reason why the FDA requires the ads to clearly disclose risks.
Your blood pressure could drop to an unsafe level.
Serious side effects,
such as body rash or trouble breathing,
severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting,
loss of appetite,
an increased risk of death or stroke. Call your doctor if you have high fever.
And they're going to make sure that the viewers leave the commercial with an understanding of the benefits of perhaps some miracle cure and not hopefully remember too much about the potential harms and risks.
One infamous case involves clever marketing of Bayer's birth control pill, Yaz.
The pill more and more women are turning to.
The FDA has hit Yaz ads with multiple complaints for minimizing risks and overstating benefits.
Yaz contains DRSP, a different kind of hormone that...
Bayer ran a $20 million corrective ad campaign.
So you shouldn't take Yaz if you have kidney, liver, or adrenal disease because this could cause serious heart and health problems.
Even after that, the FDA flagged Yaz ads again for failing to disclose any risks, including heart attack, stroke, gallbladder disease, blood clots, and death. Then there's the cholesterol drug Lipitor.
Dr. Robert Jarvik, inventor of the artificial heart.
At one time, Lipitor was the best-selling drug in the world, generating $12 billion a year for Pfizer. Dr. Robert Jarvik, who invented an artificial heart, got a $1.3 million contract to pitch Lipitor.
And I just feel really good about lending my support.
But the FDA called his ad misleading because Jarvik isn't a cardiologist and never treated patients or prescribed drugs. By the way, that's not him rowing the boat, it's a stunt double. Pfizer eventually pulled the ads. Another problem, says Dr. Carome, is when risks are told in a way people won't likely remember.
There are certainly advertisements where they're reading the risk information, but what's being portrayed is smiling people, interesting cartoon characters, and those are classic examples of distracting information.
Diabetes can be a daily struggle, even if you're trying your best.
A case in point, ads for the diabetes medicine Toujeo.
Toujeo is used to control high blood sugar in adults with diabetes.
The FDA warned Toujeo's maker Sanofi about showing distracting, upbeat images while Toujeo's risks are presented.
Taking TZDs with insulins like Toujeo may cause heart failure that can lead to death. Get medical help right away if you have a serious allergic reaction, such as body rash or trouble breathing.
The FDA also dinged ads for Pfizer's menopause drug Estring for failing to present any risk information, including uterine cancer.
I can't believe I'm going to a studio today to talk about Estring. I really, truly hope that this can help other women.
Sometimes they may find an ad that violates the regulations, and they'll write a letter, a warning letter to the company, and the company will pull the ad. But at that point, the ad may have been out for many weeks or months, and already patients may have already been misled by it.
The FDA wouldn't agree to an interview, but after we began investigating the story, the agency told us it's launching a new study into prescription drug TV commercials, and particularly a category called disease awareness ads. We don't know which disease awareness ads are part of the FDA study, but this is an example from GlaxoSmithKline for adult whooping cough vaccine.
What might seem like a small cough to you can be a big, bad problem that you could spread to family members, including your grandchildren.
As long as they don't mention a brand, these ads are considered educational and don't have to mention any risks. Critics say it's a legal loophole that drug companies use to promote their products in a one-sided fashion. In this ad, viewers won't hear that whooping cough vaccine is linked to paralysis and possible heart problems, and 4% of patients report serious adverse events within 6 months.
Talk to your doctor or pharmacist about you and your family getting a whooping cough vaccination today.
Merck's disease awareness ads for HPV cervical cancer vaccine prey on parental guilt.
Maybe they didn't know I would end up with cancer because of HPV.
No mention of the vaccine's risk of blood clots, seizure, appendicitis, and paralysis.
Maybe my parents just didn't know.
All right, Mom? Dad?
The FDA tells Full Measure that it's focusing on disease awareness communications to find out if they may result in consumers misinterpreting and being confused by the information and claims. Michael Sinkinson has researched drug advertising and is an assistant economics professor at Yale.
Just to be clear, the US and New Zealand are the only two developed countries that allow this, right? So most countries have weighed the costs and benefits and said no. We don't want to allow pharma companies to advertise on TV to patients.
Sinkinson doesn't speak for the drug industry and is skeptical of some of their claims, but he says pharmaceutical ads can benefit Americans' health by selling more product.
If the government comes along and says, actually, you can't advertise on TV, well, you need to revise those forecasts. You're not going to sell as many year after approval. And maybe the math no longer makes sense and you don't develop the drugs. I think it's more likely that advertising is a net positive for society, for novel drugs, for new treatments, and for drugs that are just very cost effective, very effective at keeping you out of the hospital and out of kind of other parts of the healthcare system that are very costly.
With the FDA taking a new look at all of this, Dr. Carome says drug risks should be clearer in audio and matching bold words on the screen with no distractions. If you could wave a magic wand, what would the FDA do about the challenges that you've described?
So if I could wave a magic wand, we would no longer allow this type of direct-to-consumer advertising at all.
Are TV drug ads in the U.S. ever going to go away, do you think?
Unfortunately, not probably in our lifetime.
The FDA has proposed allowing drug companies to reduce the amount of risk information in ads.